Hey, we got some good stuff for you. We're talking more about liposuction, fat transfer, how to get rid of that hanging belly. A little technical difficulties here. um, so we currently have a special going on, 15% off. This will last till the end of the month. The deal is you have to place a deposit before the end of this month, and then you have to have the procedure by the end of next month. So as you guys jump on here, I hope that you're tagging a friend, sharing it with people. Looks like something's going on with Facebook. Instagram, welcome everyone. Raina, okay, so we got some people jumping on Facebook. Good to hear. It feels like the algorithms have changed on these social media and the exposure is significantly less. So anything that you can do to help us out, I would highly appreciate it. Telling your friends, telling your family, anybody who might be benefited from removing fat from their anywhere on the body, really. Let's see. Massimoni says, "Are you board certified?" I am board certified. It's not the one that you're thinking about, but board certification. Most people don't really realize what that is. All it is it's a test. So you study for it. You take a test. It's paperwork. It's not, it doesn't make you any better at any surgical, which is a hands-on type thing. So liposuction is one of those procedures that you can have a degree from Harvard, you can have a degree from down the street here, as long as you're qualified per the state and licensed. You can do liposuction, which is good and bad. It's bad because there's a bunch of chumps, these doctors that they're just trying to make money. They decide to offer liposuction. They really don't know what they're doing, but they take your money, and they usually charge a lot less to draw people in. And unfortunately, they screw things up. So, these certifications, degrees. I mean, all you have to know is that I'm a physician assistant. I've been doing liposuction for 15 years. I've done well over 15,000 procedures. I train doctors from all over the country, and just look at the results. I've been doing this a long time, so I think they speak for themselves. And if, again, don't trust me. Go to our private Facebook group, and you can speak with my patients directly. A lot of these pictures you see behind me are the individuals sharing their own pictures publicly, so you can actually connect with them directly to ask questions and concerns. So hope that helps out. What's up, Rebecca, Raina? Okay, Urbina says, "Hello, I asked you last time if I can do lipo after a tummy tuck." Absolutely. Yeah, we get lots of patients that go get tummy tucks, and this is kind of one of the reasons why I speak out against the tummy tuck in a way, because in many cases you can avoid a tummy tuck, but if you go ahead and get a tummy tuck, and in many cases they don't take out enough fat, so it leaves you, although you don't have that hanging part, it leaves you more square on the sides here. And they still have a thick layer of fat that we can benefit dramatically. So absolutely, we can help you out if you had a tummy tuck. Now, when you go to our quick quote pricing, you may not fit into the pricing appropriately. So if you're interested, you're serious, I would get the formal consultation. We could get you set up and started with that. But yeah, the results are awesome after the tummy tuck. For some reason, the fat comes out a lot easier after a tummy tuck, and we tend to get much better results. But my recommendations are, for those of you who have not had a tummy tuck yet, to come and get liposuction first. We'll remove, a substantial amount of fat to, get you the results that you're looking for. And the skin always retracts back. And this is, I show these larger individuals. Not that everybody is this big, but visually speaking, you can see the change. But the funny thing was, I posted this on TikTok the other day, and someone was like, "I don't see the change." That's but. I mean, it's unbelievable. We had to cover up the pubic area because on the after you can see the pubic area. But before, you can't even see it. You see her underwear are completely covered up. And afterwards, the substantial reduction in the fat in the front of the belly retracts back. And this is a simple laws of physics. The density and the weight of the fat pulls the skin down, and that's why it hangs down further. When you take out the volume, that you take out the fat and the weight that's pulling things down, it inherently bounces back. Now your skin is like elastic; it'll bounce back. However, if you've damaged it and stretched it out for extended periods of time, sometimes decades, you clearly are going to decrease the potential of your skin. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people, they have great skin quality even if you've gained and lost a substantial amount of weight over time. Other women, it's very unfortunate. They'll have one kid and they shreds their skin. I mean, they got stretch marks all over the place. They have, loose hanging skin, and it's really it's a challenge. So, but even though, this is a great example of an individual who had a substantial amount of stretch marks and loose skin before, and you can see after, if you can zoom in on this, you can see after that it has the appearance of some looseness of the skin because the skin was damaged prior. She's got some stretch marks prior, so they're still there, but the skin retracted back exceedingly well, allowing for that fold to go away completely. So many of my patients are not looking to get into a two-piece bikini and be a supermodel or anything of that nature. They want to feel better about themselves. They want to fit into clothes better. They want to be able to have this appearance. Like, for example, this young lady here, she would always wear her pants right at this middle portion, right there. You can see the line, it goes all the way around. She wore her pants, and many of you may do the same thing when you wear your pants and it digs in and it causes these irregular shapes. So when you have to do that, it's embarrassing, and I think that individuals feel like they have to cover up, so that's what they do in the clothes that they wear. They may wear garments to cover things up. When you have that hanging belly, a lot of people don't want to, put their pants underneath and allow it to hang over, so they put it on top. And when you do that, it causes another place for your belly to fold. So there's ways to avoid this, right? And when you get the fat out, you don't have to do those things. You don't have to cover up, so you don't. And when you don't cover up, you don't cause these type of problems. With the liposuction, specifically on a situation like this, when you have these folds, whether it's at the bottom of the tummy or it's in the middle of the tummy, those folds, they continue to show up because your body creates connective tissue or fibrous tissue, which is almost like a memory for your body. Your body, even though you take your pants off every night, your body remembers, this is where the fold is, this is where we're supposed to do it. And it does that by creating this connective tissue. So with the liposuction, we can break through that connective tissue and allow for your body the opportunity to heal in the proper position. And so what I mean by that is with the liposuction, we break through all of the connective tissue that holds everything together. So imagine it's like erasing the memory that holds it in place. We erase all that memory, and then now afterwards, your skin will lie in whatever position you put it in. So after the procedure, I could get everything out smooth and even, but then in the healing process, if the garment itself is folded or binds up or puts more pressure on one area than another, it could lead to irregularities in your skin. And the reason why is because your body forms scar tissue in whatever position you're in. So if you keep it with a fold, the body will form scar tissue with a fold, and it'll remember it through the scar tissue. And that fold will be there forever. So you have the opportunity.
You're actually live in the support group.
Oh, I'm live. Maybe that's the problem. On Facebook?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's the problem. All right, ladies, I'm going to go live on the regular Facebook page. So let's do that. Sorry for this little technical difficulty. That makes a lot of sense, though. Okay. So I'm not going to leave any post in there, but if you can go back around and fill it in, Granville, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Let's see if it didn't work. Okay. That made sense. I was wondering why we weren't getting any exposure on Facebook, but hey, welcome, Facebook. I was a little delayed. Sorry, I went live in the group in Facebook, so hope you guys get this. So what was I talking about? Getting all that
fold and memory.
Yeah, the fold. Okay, so as your body heals, it reforms the connective tissue and scar tissue in whatever position you're in. So if, like, say you're one of these people, you're hunchback and you cause a bunch of folds in your stomach, those folds, as you're healing, will become permanent. But the advantage to this is that if you keep everything nice and smooth, the skin retracts back, and you can utilize the scar tissue it's almost like glue. It sticks everything down. So if you keep it retracted back long enough, your body will form scar tissue in that position, and the belly won't fold over, it won't hang. It's quite amazing stuff that it's even possible that we can do this stuff. Okay, Munica, hope I pronounced that right. Where are you located? We are in Las Vegas. About 85% of our patients fly in from out of state, so we try to make this process as easy as possible. If you're interested in the pricing, it's quick and easy, and we call it the quick quote. You can go to our website, myshapelipo.com, and there's links for the quick quote, which will get you that instant pricing. You don't have to speak to anybody, it's immediate. You just put in some basic information, answer a few questions, determine what your options are, what you want, and it gives you a price that you can hang your hat on. It's pretty accurate. So I'm really happy with that. Now, once you get your price and you're serious, you're ready to move forward, and the next step is getting a formal consultation. I want to speak with every person who's going to get a procedure with MyShape Lipo. It's really important that I make sure that we're all on the same page, that I review your photos to make sure that we can do what we say we can do. So it's important that we meet together. So this is where the formal consultation comes in. It's required for every patient. It does cost $100, but it's part of the package deal. It's part of the cost of doing liposuction. So get your formal consultation. We can meet to discuss your plans and what you want to do. What I find is a lot of people will go through this quick quote system and they want to do like full body liposuction. However, full body liposuction is not possible. It's dangerous. Now, many of you might say, well, in Mexico they do full body liposuction, and yeah, they do, and that's where a lot of people end up having health problems, and they have fatalities and they have a lot of issues. There's a lot of bad things that happen. So in the United States, we have standards, health standards that we live up to, and we want to ensure the safety, because this is a cosmetic procedure. There's no reason for you to put your life at risk. So we do have restrictions on what is possible for one procedure. So when we do, you may go through the quick quote and you pick a bunch of different stuff that we wouldn't recommend. And that's possible on the quick quote. So you need to have the formal consultation to confirm everything. But right now we got this 15% off sale going on. What's up, Stacy? Stacy, I need to give you a call. Sorry, I've been delayed. Been pretty busy. Stacy was our previous winner for our 50% off contest. This is for influencers. So the influencers, now you could be a public influencer where you have a huge following, 1 million people or whatever the case, and you would be able to influence people. But Stacy's not a big influencer. She's just a regular person. Well, as regular can be, right? But she's a previous patient, has had multiple procedures for MyShape Lipo, and she influences people by simply sharing her story and helping people out. And I like to think of it as like a mentor. So those of you who have no idea about liposuction, you might be interested, but you're not sure where to start, you're not sure what to believe, right? Because there's lots of BS reviews out there. There's a lot of fake pictures and Photoshop and stuff. Well, people like Stacy, she's actually had the procedure, she's speaking from experience. On our private Facebook group, there's lots of our previous patients there that are sharing the story just like Stacy, and helping out the new people coming into the group, helping out the new people that are looking to change their life. And it's speaking from experience that it's way more powerful when it comes from a previous patient than when it comes from me. I can talk about this stuff all day long, and the truth is, this is what I do for a living, and this is how I make my living. So I have the incentive to encourage you to come get liposuction. I think liposuction is amazing, but you don't have to trust me. Talk to the previous patients. Those are the people that they'll tell you the good, the bad, and they keep coming back. That's what's really, I think, powerful is people like Stacy. I think she's been back for 2 or 3 different procedures, and they keep coming back for more, which means that they're happy with their previous. Why would you come back if you were not happy? So I think it's a strong motivational thing to see that our previous patients are happy with the first time. They come back for the second time, they come back for the third time. Many of our patients end up getting full body liposuction. So I think there's what's up, Michelle McLeod? Stacy looks amazing. That was nice. Stacy, people are loving you on YouTube. I keep telling people that you got to think of life is like energy, and when you start putting energy out into the world, you put the positive energy, it reflects right back at you. And when you put out negative energy, that also reflects back to you. So what I believe that I've done with this contest is give my previous patients an opportunity to put more of the positive energy out there by helping other people. And when you do that, there's many benefits. There's many benefits. Uh, what I've found is that it holds you responsible for yourself. So when you start telling other people they should be doing things, that they should be, eating better or exercising more, you can't tell other people that if you don't do it yourself. It's inauthentic, and people don't believe it. So when you, like Stacy, when you start telling people these things, and they're watching you, they're watching Stacy now as an influencer, and she's a positive example for the rest of us. And she knows that, and it holds her accountable to each day. You got to wake up and keep going, keep doing, keep being positive, keep eating better, exercising more, doing all the habits that are going to lead to the better life for you. We just discussed earlier the importance of sleep. So these simple habits are things that will make your life better, but just as easy as they are to do, is just as easy to not do. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Ultimately, it's easy to do, but it's easy not to do. So most people, it's too easy for them not to do. And so what I'm here to do is kind of stress to you the importance of these easy things. It's not that hard to do. It's actually pretty easy, but you actually have to do it. Simple things like drinking water. You should drink half your body weight in ounces on a daily basis. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should be drinking 100 ounces of water on a daily basis. It should be consistent. Simple. But if you don't do it, the consequences are huge. Sleep. You should get 6 to 8 hours of sleep per night. It's easy to do if you take the time and you focus on it and you make it a priority in your life. But it's really easy to not do because hey, I'm not that tired. I'm gonna stay up a little bit later. Or I'm tired in the morning. I'm just gonna drink coffee and make up for the lack of my discipline. But if you can start to change your life and become more disciplined, discipline is like a muscle, and when you can build it simply by saying, I want to do this, and then you show up and you do this. You say, I want to do this, and then you show up and you do it, and it subconsciously programs your brain to become more disciplined. And so, and you can do this. There's like little tricks and habits, tricks that you can use to hold yourself more accountable. For example, if you can set up consequences if you don't follow through with your choices. So like, let's say you tell yourself that you want to show up to the gym 3 times a week, and if you're unable to show up, the consequence is money is a good encouragement. So if you don't show up to the gym, then you take let's say $20 and you put it into a jar, and that $20 is gonna is the consequences that you're gonna have to, like, let's say you donate that money to somewhere, right? Most people don't want that to happen. Money's a big motivator, so if that little bit of a consequence of costing you for not showing up, if that pushes you over the edge to make you show up, then that's a good thing, right? When I speak about these things, when I tell you gotta eat better, you gotta drink right, when I get to the moment when it's time to make the decision, whether I want to make a bad decision or a good decision, my thought process is like, all these people are watching me. All these people are paying attention to me. I keep telling them that they should eat right. I keep telling them that they should drink plenty of water. I keep telling them they should get exercise. And if I'm not doing this stuff myself, then what does that mean? It means that I'm inauthentic, and you won't believe me anymore. Because why would you believe me if I don't do the things that I preach? So you have to be the same way. When you're sharing it and paying it forward, and you're telling your friends and family that they should be doing these things to live a better life, it's you allowing these other people to hold you responsible now. And it's very, very powerful, and it allows you to advance and grow in places where you wouldn't advance and grow, because some people would get lazy and they wouldn't show up for things, and they have that lack of discipline. But it helps you to grow your discipline. It's just like a muscle. You gotta practice. What's up, Lupita, Beth, Gisela, Catherine, Maggie, Libby, Hector, what's up? Castro, Lupita, Holly, welcome. Stacy, you say it's freezing. I'm guessing you're not talking about the cold. Stacy says liposuction has boosted my confidence dramatically. You know, I've been seeing a lot recently that people are posting stuff of, you know, benefits of liposuction that are not necessarily some of these things that we promote. And you know, confidence is obviously it is one of those things that we talk about a lot. And you know, you can imagine, if you haven't had this procedure before, you can just try to imagine how you would feel if you had this, you know, you have this big belly that, you know, when you sit down, your belly's sitting on your lap. Every time you know, you're getting dressed, this belly's hanging over and it's covering your private areas. You know, many of these girls, they cover up. They're embarrassed. It decreases your motivation to get out and do things. So you can imagine how you'd feel if all of a sudden that thing that bothered you, that thing that you were embarrassed with, and just poof, it's gone. What could you do? I mean, physically, you can rattle off 10, 15 different things that you could do physically if you didn't have this big belly. But what about emotionally? How does it affect you emotionally? And if you didn't have this belly, how would it affect you emotionally? How would you feel? You know, would it make you happy? Would it make you excited? You know, how would you feel after this? And you have to start imagining these things, because if you really want to achieve living your best life, you have to imagine first is what that even means, and how you know, where your goals are. If you don't think that it's important to do certain things to reach these goals, then you won't actually do them. When you imagine what these other people feel like, what they, you know, imagine getting dressed and not having to, you know, wear these tight compressive garments anymore. Because a lot of these girls, they're wearing compression garments all the time, 24/7. Imagine what it's going to be like when you don't have to do that and you still look good. It's exciting. And that excitement, it gets you motivated. And when you get motivated, you want to do more, you want to do better, you want to, you get this energy about you, and as you get more energy, you are able to do more things. And as you're able to do more things, it's like the wheel starts turning, and you start losing weight quicker, you start feeling better about yourself, the confidence starts rising, you start fitting better into your clothes, and all of that, again, it goes back to, I want to do more, I want to do more, I want to do better, I want to keep improving. After you become conscious, you got to wake up to all this stuff, because a lot of people, you're skating through life asleep. You're not paying attention that all that garbage that you're putting in your mouth is actually causing the problems that you have on a daily basis. So instead of complaining and saying that woe is me, why is life doing this, it's no one else's fault. It's no one else's fault. As soon as you take 100% responsibility for your own outcome, you'll start making the changes in your life. Okay? It's no one else's fault. You can't blame it on the government. The government, you know, gives us garbage food. It's not their fault. They put out the garbage food. You get to choose to eat it or not. Right? It's a choice. You know, it's saying you can't sleep. It's really, you know, it's a choice, because I guarantee you, people that don't sleep well, you have a poor sleep habit. There's a reason for it. There's always a reason. And whether it's the patterns that you've created, whether it's you're taking stimulants, whether it's the food that you eat, everything affects it. And when you don't do these foundational basic things in your life to take care of yourself, to take care of your body, to take care of your mind, when you don't do these things, it affects every aspect of your mind and body. All right. Okay, Naomi Lopez, I'm ready for my lipo. What's up, Holly? What's up, Monica? Excited. So we got Kat from My Shape here. She's here to answer any questions. She speaks Spanish, so if you have any Spanish questions, she can answer them for you. And if you want a Spanish speaker, you can always call our office. She's there as well. All right. I'll tell you a little bit about my weekend. I had an awesome weekend. I went whitewater rafting up in Northern California, the American River. So much fun, so much fun. And I can tell you that being lean, being strong, it allowed me to do this. It allowed me to have the fun that I wanted. It allowed me to do the things that I wanted. We went down 31 miles, actually it's about 36 miles of river, rowing, going through whitewater rapids. So it required a lot of strength, a lot of endurance, a lot of energy to go through that whole process. But man, it was amazing. I had so much fun. And, you know, I would have never known that I wanted to do it until I did it, right? So I don't ever want to limit myself. And I felt like when I was younger, when I didn't do these habits, I was quite a bit heavier. So many of you may not know my story, but I had gained quite a bit of weight after college. For me, it was heavy. I got up about 220 pounds. I'm about 6'1", so I wasn't huge. I wasn't severely obese, but I was big for me, and that was restrictive. My belly started hanging over. I had some weird symptoms that the fullness, the fat in my body. I think it compressed my nerves, so I started getting numbness in my hands and just in weird positions because it was putting pressure on the nerves in various places. I had pain. I had back pain, bad back pain, and it really bothered me. And I had a lack of energy. I just didn't want to do anything because I was tired all the time. I was drinking coffee at the time to cover up from the lack of sleep that I was getting, because at the time I was drinking alcohol and staying up late. I wasn't getting enough sleep. So all these things affected me, and consequently I got heavier. And when I got heavier, I had a lack of energy. So it's like one day I was influenced. I was influenced by someone. There was one individual. This person turned me on to this influencer on social media. His name is Ty Lopez. He's not in social media. He's kind of gotten off it. But about 5-6 years ago, he opened my eyes to the reality, and that I was the one that was responsible for all of my outcomes. And if I didn't do the things that were necessary to deserve the lifestyle, the life that I wanted, if I didn't do what was necessary for me to deserve them, then I wouldn't get it. See, life isn't just given to you. You have to deserve it. If you want to look like some of these women up here, you have to deserve it. Meaning you have to do the things that are necessary to get that. And what does that mean? It might be coming up with the money, but after these procedures, you have to maintain these results. If you don't change your lifestyle, then you don't deserve to keep them. And those people that don't deserve to keep the results, they lose them. So we like to say liposuction is permanent. And yes, the fat doesn't reproduce, but if you gain weight after the procedure, it makes everything else look crappy. If you treat your abdomen and this looks good, but you don't treat the other areas in your body and you gain weight, all the rest of the body gets bigger. In the area that we treat, it's going to get a little bit bigger. It's not going to look the same as this, but it's going to get thicker. And it'll bother you, especially if you want to stay lean, especially when you appreciate the initial change, and that we got this big dramatic change or significantly smaller. When you appreciate that and then you gain weight over the next couple of years, it's frustrating as hell. So the discipline in maintaining your body, you have to deserve it. And when I say you have to deserve it, you have to do the things that are necessary to deserve it. I was trying to explain this to my kids the other day, in that if you want to be smart, you want to be able to read well, you want to be able to get a good job, you want to be able to get paid, you want me to pay you for doing things, you have to deserve. You have to deserve whatever you get. Things in life are not just given to you. You have to deserve them. And by deserve, it's you have to do the things that are necessary in order to deserve to look a certain way or to feel a certain way. You have to do those things. And when you convince yourself that you deserve it, you can all of a sudden you can get whatever you want. Because when you're like, I've been working really hard, I've been getting this stuff, and then all of a sudden it'll start showing up. The weight will start coming off. The muscles will start coming through. The energy will start flowing through you, because as you start losing that fat, the energy starts coming back. And as you ask more of your body, magically your body will give you more. And it doesn't happen like this. It doesn't happen like, I'm tired in the morning, I wish my body gave me more energy. I'm just waiting. You're never gonna get it. Never. What you have to do is you have to act first. So go out and do first, and then become tired. And when you become tired, your body's like, okay, we need to start producing more energy. And then the next day, it produces more energy. But the important thing is you have to recover. So if you deplete your body of energy, if you don't recover by sleeping, if you don't recover properly, then your body's not going to function well the next time. So ask more of yourself, do more, give more of this positive energy. Look, God gives all of us this energy in the morning. If you wake up in the morning, God gave you the energy. And if you're able to sit up, you better thank God for the energy that you have to be able to move, to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do. But most people, they take it for granted and they just let it go. And they sit around and they're not taking advantage, they're not utilizing this energy, they're not doing the things that are necessary for them to live their best life. And when you don't do that, God will just take it back. Just like the tide. The tide goes out, tide comes back in. If you don't want this energy, it'll come right back and you'll lose it. So the choice is yours. And right now, 15% off. You're gonna get a huge discount. To live your best life, you gotta start taking action. Those of you who take action will be able to appreciate this discount. It's a limited time offer. And are you too young or too old for this? No way. This is our patient. She's 74 years old. She's got her 4th procedure. She's not big on social media, so you're not going to find her on our group. But those of you who think you're too old, man, you got a rude awakening, because there's people that are still improving on their lives. They're still getting better. They're still doing all the things that are necessary to deserve the best life. If you deserve the best life, you will get it. I promise. It's inevitable. It's a matter of time, but you have to keep working, keep doing. And unfortunately, if you did negative things in the past, it may take some hard work to get over the struggles and to make up for all of the negative things that you did in the past. This is, some people like to call it karma, right? So karma will come back and bite you in the ass if you've done a lot of bad things in the past. But it's never too late. It's never too late. All those negative things that you did that gain this weight, you can utilize your money to, it's like magic, just make it go away. But if you don't change your lifestyle, this stuff eventually comes right back. It's a cycle. Life is a cycle. Okay, LB84, still loving my results. LB says, hello Trevor, all the beautiful people on here. It's awesome, right? We've been able to attract some amazing people. Okay. Yeah, I think that I've talked about this before. It's the law of attraction. And the law of attraction states that it's the energy that you put into the world gets reflected right back to you. So how I utilize this in real world, and so a lot of you may hear these things and say, that's great to hear, but how does it actually work? How do you actually make these things work for your life? Because this is a law of nature. I'm not making this stuff up, and whether you have success at it or not is dependent on how well you understand the law and then how well you're able to implement it in your life. Now, how I've been implementing it. My goal is to attract in people who are ready to transform their life. So those of you who have struggled, you've had challenges, you've tried things to improve and failed, you tried diet, you tried exercise, and you're depressed. You're unhappy with the current situation. And at some point, it's like, enough is enough. And I want to attract those people simply through talking about them. I'm telling you what I want. I'm sending the energy out there in the world. Like, I want people who are so sick and tired of their current situation that they're ready to change. Because I know that when you make a decision, it's like that hard line in the sand. Enough is enough. I'm done. When you make that decision, change happens. Change happens in an instant. And how does it happen? Is because every decision after that is a change. Every decision, because it's the little decisions that you make. Should I get up this morning and go work out? Yes. Should I eat a healthier diet, make a healthier choice when I go out for dinner? Yes. And if you can make those things consistently, make those little tiny decisions. They're easy decisions. It's not that hard. Make those decisions. Okay? Stay disciplined. And if you can do that, you'll deserve, it'll come back to you. You keep putting out that positive energy, it'll come back to you. So what I've been doing is I talk about the people that I want. I explain to them all the joy and the happiness that it comes from these patients, and how they can get a better life. And I know that if you believe me, you'll follow these people like Rebecca, and you'll learn from her on how she's done it, and you'll continuously improve. You'll continuously improve. And if you put out the positive energy and you do all the things with this energy, so you know all these positive things that you should be doing, and if you actually use your energy to do that, then it's going to come right back to you. And it's going to come right back to you in more energy, more strength, more flexibility, more confidence, the ability to actually do the things that you want to do. That's where this stuff works. But you have to start doing. You have to start putting that energy out there in the world. So we got Rebecca Rexroad on here, one of my favorite people in the world, behind, Stacy and Rebecca. So the two of them they've had multiple procedures here at MyShape, and they're one of our best mentors. Rebecca, she's very big on our group. She's one of the administrators, and she helps out everybody. And Rebecca says that when I go live, it always reminds her to drink water. And that's, sometimes we need that stuff, right? We need these little reminders, and it's consistent. It's consistency. Our brain, the way that we create patterns, imagine it's like every time you do something, it's like putting a strand of string. And with one string, it'll break, right? But every time you do it, you lay another string, lay another string, lay another string, 5 times, 10 times, 30 times, 40 times. And they say that it takes about 30 to 60 days to create a habit, and to make it so it's like a well polished habit in your brain. So enough of those strings, it's like the hair, right? Your hair is really, one strand of hair is not that strong, but you grab a whole chunk of it, it's nice and tight like a rope. So the brain is the same way when you're creating these habits. So everything you do is, when you do these habits consistently, or you hear me say you should drink water, that's one repetition. You heard it, you have one strand. But now the repetitions, you hear it multiple times, 10 times, 20 times, and then you actually do these things. It's repetition, repetition, repetition. You have to hear this stuff. You have to do this stuff, repeating over and over and over. And it makes it, this is the cool thing, is it makes it in your brain so where you don't have to think about it anymore. It solidifies it in your subconscious, and you do it without even thinking. It's so easy when these things become a habit in your life. It's so easy. I promise you, it's so easy. The hard work is developing the habit. That's the hard part. It takes 30 to 60 days. I like to skew on the side of the 60 days. So you have to have discipline for this first period, this 30 to 60 days. You have to have the discipline. So whatever you have to do, whether it's setting alarms, when you track these things, these tracking devices, they give you motivation, they give you incentive, they remind you that you should do this stuff. See, when you track your water, you can set reminders. And if you can track how much water you're drinking on a daily basis, set reminders to drink every hour or whatever it is for you. As you set the reminders, again, it's just repetitive reminding over and over and over. It's so important. It never gets old. It never gets old. Stop this like, oh, I already heard the stuff. I already know. Bullshit. If you keep saying that I already know this stuff, you won't hear it. You won't listen to it. It won't be another repetition, and it'll completely be wasted on you. So focus on this. Water is important, so remember and do it again. When you see me drinking water, when you see people talk, whenever you see other people carrying a water bottle, why don't you have yours? Which, I'm saying this now and it reminds me. I remembered, oh, I'm thirsty. But the cool thing is when you create these habits, and I only discuss, a lot of the foundational habits, but I have implemented, hundreds of different positive habits into my life. And just as important as the positive habits are, is the elimination of the negative habits. So when we're growing up, we are programmed, our children are programmed with habits that they should follow. And unfortunately, if your kids are anything like mine, they don't want to listen to what we say to them. So they almost in a rebellious nature. Most of us kind of did the opposite of what we should have done, and we ate poorly. I ate a bunch of junk food when I was younger. I ate a bunch of sugar. I didn't exercise. I didn't stretch as much as I should have. I didn't drink. I certainly did not drink enough water. I was chronically dehydrated for most of my life. So when I finally got to the point where I was hydrated, oh my gosh, it felt like magic. All of a sudden, it's easier to lose weight. You have more energy, and then you realize that you really aren't as hungry as you thought you were. You were really just thirsty. And so what happens is when you drink more water, you eat less food, which you end up losing weight. Okay. Let's see, Rebecca and Stacy are interacting. Stacy's on the Facebook and Instagram. There you go. Okay, China Lee says the makeup artist who went to you had lost lots of keloids from her procedure. She looks like she didn't have work done. Look, and I keep telling this about people, is that if you don't live the lifestyle that deserves to have the bodies that we create by taking the fat out of you, you're going to recreate the problems that you had in the past. So if you continue to eat poorly and have a poor diet, you don't drink enough water, and you're not doing these foundational habits, then you don't deserve to keep a body like that. You deserve to have the body that you began with, because that's how it was created. It was created by those poor habits that you were doing. And so, unfortunately, some of these big influencers, it's like they get things for free and they live a poor life. There's no value to them. So it's when the consequences are less for them, perhaps financially, they tend to make poor results. So China, I highly suggest utilize people like that as an example of what not to do. Because if you go back and look at the pictures, they look all of the influencers, they look phenomenal from the beginning. And then it took time. They don't follow the diet, don't follow the habits, and then they kind of fall off, and next thing you know, they're gaining weight again, and it's those are the habits, right? If you don't create positive habits, you have negative habits. It's one or the other. There's very few like neutral habits. They're either making you better or making you worse. And I've said this before. It's either you're green and growing or ripe and rotting. And this is a good analogy with fruit. Is the fruit is either it's green, but it's getting better. It's growing. It's improving. But at that point when you're ripe, you're like, oh yeah, I feel good about myself. You're ripe in life. You made enough money. You're comfortable. You got your house, your car. You're like, okay, I'm cool. I'm good. Now I can just relax. And then when you relax, that's when you're just like you're ripe. And then eventually it's a slow decline. You start to rot. So you got to stay ripe, stay improving, stay getting better. You got to keep working at improving. And by the way, keloids that's a thing that is the individual gets. Is if you don't get keloids, you don't have to worry about it. It's common. It's more common on darker skinned individuals, but even those, it's not all that common. But keloids, after this procedure, you're going to have scars. Keloids are big purple raised scars. These scars from liposuction, it'll take them about a year to mature. So if you're seeing them early on, they're gonna be more visible, and after about a year, they fade away, and they're very tiny little scars. Okay, LB says, I learned that after 360 lipo and a BBL, when I did put on weight from my depression, that it didn't go to the tummy, but my booty got bigger. And so this is basic. That's exactly what should happen, right? The fat cells that we remove are gone. They're gone forever. And the fat cells don't reproduce, but what happens is the fat cells that remain, they'll go, when you're skinny, they'll be really tiny. And then when you gain weight, those same fat cells, they get bigger and bigger. In fact, they can get so big, they can be about this big. My patients that I've seen are like 300 pounds. The fat cells are literally this big. Whereas On babies, the fat cells are so small it looks like a gel. So you can't even see them. So for you, after the procedure, if you gain weight, you're going to gain weight where the fat is. So if you have fat transfer to the butt, you have more fat cells there. Therefore, if those fat cells expand and you have more fat cells there, you're going to appreciate a bigger gain in that area. I know women see this on their breasts where they have big breasts already and they gain weight and their boobs get bigger. Or you might see that on the chin, like if you don't treat the chin but you treat the waist, you gain a few pounds and all of a sudden your face is getting bigger and you're upset about it. Well, this is why the importance of living a healthy life, right? Doing these things to maintain and deserve the results that you have. As soon as you start doing the things that are not in line, that are not on the same energetic level, the frequency, if you're not doing the same things that are in line with being healthy, in line with having the body that you want, you don't deserve it anymore, and you'll slowly lose it. It doesn't happen overnight like that, but you'll slowly lose it. It's just a matter of time. So that's why it's just so important to continue to stay consistent and constant, never-ending improvement. Yeah, Rebecca says aftercare matters. Yeah. And like Stacy says as well, is like, people, if you're unhappy with things, you're always able to call our office. The crazy thing is when these people go out and they complain publicly, but yet they never say anything to me. It's like, well, I can't help you. It's in that case, when people complain publicly but you're not asking for help, it's just a woe is me. You're a victim. You're playing this victim, like, oh my God, the world, everything's happening to me. But that's not the truth. The truth is that if you're gaining weight after the procedure, it's you doing it. It's not me. It's you. And so as soon as you stop blaming other people and look at yourself, you can start to change. You can start to live a healthier lifestyle if you realize it's you're the one that's making the decisions. You can start losing weight once you realize that you're the one that is doing the things that's causing you to gain weight. Instead of thinking, oh, it's some disease or something else, or it's someone else's fault, or the government's, FDA is not, making this food as garbage for us, and it's not my fault. And so as long as you're thinking it's not my fault, it's someone else's fault, you'll never take responsibility. And if you don't take responsibility, it's always gonna be a problem. And then you'll have this mindset, this mentality of this victim, that something's always happening to you. But you know what? I took on this responsibility years ago, in that it's always my responsibility. Everything that happens to me, happens around me, is my responsibility. I can't control anybody else, but I can control me. And this was something that was big for me with employees. That when employees don't do things that they're supposed to do, it's really easy to be like, you should have done this. But the truth is, when I started looking at this stuff, it's like, it's my responsibility. I didn't explain it well enough. Or I allowed you to get away with these things that I shouldn't have been allowing you to get away with. And so you created a habit that was, not in line. But ultimately, it was my responsibility. I wasn't a good enough leader. Otherwise, the employees would have been doing what they should have been doing. Now, maybe that's true, maybe that's not true, but I can't control if I blame it on them. I can control it if I blame it on myself. So it allowed me the control in my life. I feel like I'm in control now, even though I realize that there's a lot of things that are out of my control. I can't control everything. And in fact, most things I can't control. But if I can get this little sense of control that I can influence the world around me, then it makes me feel better. CL says, now I'm back on the right track, meds, and I just need to tune up. Yep, that's the way it is, and then we all kind of will get off this frequency of joy and happiness, because when you're happy, when everything's going well, it's because you're doing the right things. So many of us, sometimes you just gotta get back on track. You gotta start doing positive things, and as you do positive things, that again, the positive energy bounces back at you. So if you start, going out and it's interesting that with depression, the smiling and laughing, and even if it's not authentic initially, the movement of the muscles, scientifically they've proven this already. The movement of the muscles in the face when you smile, it stimulates dopamine that makes you feel better. So You can't expect something on the outside to make you happy. You have to do something on the inside to make you happy. Okay, makes sense. If you're waiting for something to happen on the outside, you have no control of that. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't happen. You're going to be miserable your whole life if you're waiting for something else on the outside. Everything happiness comes from the inside. So the focus needs to be switched, right? And the world is a mirror. So the stuff that I give out is going to mirror back to me. It's going to come back to me. And the Eastern philosophy is of karma. And the things that you do, there's always consequences. There's a cause and effect to everything. So if you want to get the effect, you have to do the cause. If you want to get the thinner body, you have to do the things that make you deserve it. You have to cause that to happen. And as you get better at manifesting the ideas, see, the way this reality works, when you become the creator of your life, you are the creator, and all creation starts in the mind. This is the imagination. If you can't imagine what your life can be, you'll never find it. If you don't have a target to shoot at, then you're never going to hit the target. Think about that. Imagine you're shooting arrows. If you weren't shooting at a target, you never know what you're going to hit, right? It just goes off all over the place. You might shoot towards whatever you're shooting towards, but if there's no target, you don't know whether you hit it or not. Or here's another analogy. If you leave the house and have no directions of where you're going, then you're just going to drive and go and make a turn. You're going to end up going in circles, and you end up nowhere. When in fact, most people, I'm not just saying some people, most people, they don't know where they're going in life. They have no goals. They have no endpoint or the achievement that they're looking for. So they're out there in life and there's no direction. They don't know where they're going. So changing the way that you think is the key. You have to set these goals for you, whether it's looking better, whether it's feeling better, whether it's educating yourself, whatever it is, you need to set goals. And they don't have to be big goals. They need to be little goals that are achievable. And the more achievable they are, the more that you're going to knock down. And the more of those goals that you knock down, it elevates your confidence. And then when you elevate your confidence, it circles back and it makes everything easier. I'm sure you guys got some husbands with these man bods. This is not just for women. Liposuction for men, for women, for whatever you identify with. Right? Fat has no gender. But I've had liposuction. I had liposuction in my waist as well as my chest, and to me it's been a huge impact. And it really helped my confidence. I was, back in the days, I had these man boobs, and it really embarrassed me, and it was super embarrassing, and I did a lot of things to cover up. I used to wear a tight undershirt underneath to keep things flat, and then a thick, heavy shirt on top, and I would lean forward. I would have the shoulders like this, right? And you've probably seen some kids doing this. They keep their shoulders forward like this, so you can't see the chest. This is the way guys hide it, right? Girls, you guys have your own way of hiding stuff. Okay, we all do it on our insecurities, the things that we don't like, we hide it. So what I try to talk to, the people, if you're hiding, it's not a way to live your life. You don't get to experience all the rest of the things that the rest of us get to experience because you're hiding, you avoid, and at some point you just make a decision. Enough is enough. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of avoiding, and it's time to live my best life. And if you make that decision, you can start making consistent decisions after that. After you decide to live your best life, it's a simple thing, where you can ask yourself each time you make a decision, is this living my best life? And if the answer is no, then you don't do it. And if the answer is yes, then you move forward. And the more of those things that you can stay disciplined on making those decisions to living your best life, it's inevitable. It has to happen. If you are consistently focusing on living your best life and making the right decisions at each fork in the road, each turning point, if you can consistently do that, then it's inevitable you're gonna get to the goal that you're looking for. I've talked about time travel before, and there's been a bunch of movies in the past about this, and people are so concerned about going in the past and changing something, whatever it is, changing that something, and then that affecting the rest of time going forward. People are so worried about that, and I'm like, Why don't you worry about changing the now, changing things different right now, and affect the future positively? Why don't you do that? So you don't have to go back in time and change stuff. You can change right now. We actually control this right now. That's how you change the future. That's how you define the future. This is how you become what you want to become. You control it. You have the control. This is the free will. Now, some people say free will doesn't exist, but let's assume that it does. Let's assume that you get to choose. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but let's assume that you do. Each time you get to go out to dinner, you get to make a choice. You get to choose the healthier choice or the unhealthy choice. Every time they say, would you like a drink? You get to choose. Do I want to drink anything other than water? That's gonna be the unhealthy choice. No, ma'am, I'd like water. That's the healthy choice. It's the simple things. And when you can string together enough of these positive choices, that's when it really starts, it's inevitable, it comes out through you. This energy that you have, that you're giving, all of us are giving, right? It comes out through you. You gotta make healthy decisions and use this energy in a positive way. And as you use it in a positive way, the world starts reflecting positivity back at you. Yeah, Rebecca. And I appreciate you guys kind of defending me on this. When we deal with influencers, it's like a double-edged sword. They're amazing people, and clearly they give us a lot of exposure to more people. So obviously, China, you heard about us from that influencer, which is great. You found us and you came to us, but you got to have the intelligence. That's the key. Is you got to have the intelligence to see past the bullshit, because there's a lot of lies out there, especially the influencers. The influencers have so much motivation to create drama, and it's a shame, but their lives are drama. And that's what they have to do, and that's what they have to do to make money. And it is what it is. I'm not hating on them. They're good people. I like them. I think they got phenomenal results, and we show the pictures all the time. So you have to make the choice. You have to make the decision. You have to reflect on your life and decide what is the right thing for you to do, and make the choice for yourself. You got to weigh the pros and the cons. And here's the truth though. I've done 15,000 procedures, and it's inevitable that there's going to be some unhappy people. It's inevitable that there's going to be some poor results. It just happens. It's inevitable, because I don't control everything. I don't control everybody that comes to me. So there's some people that have a much better potential than other people. And that's saying it nicely, right? There's some people that really have poor situations, and I take it on because I'm trying to help them. But the potential for them is substantially less than others. So it is what it is. I take on the responsibility to try to help them as much as possible. But one has to be realistic with the potential. And while I say anything is possible, with these type of procedures, there's a limitation of what is possible for this situation. If you want a different situation, there's other things that would need to be done to make things happen. So. Yeah, China, I don't know who you're talking about, as far as she looks worse than before, but I know, like Candy Lover, Candy Lover, she looks phenomenal, still, even though she's gained weight, and it's like, quit hating on people, until you can become perfect yourself, don't hate on other people for being imperfect, but you have to take your own responsibility. So after these procedures, it's your responsibility to eat right for yourself. If other people choose not to, so what? It's not your problem. It's their problem, right? But you have to take the responsibility to eat right yourself. These other women, don't hate on them. It is what it is. They make the choices, and you have to accept them as they are. If they gain weight, then accept them as they are. They looked good for a period of time. That's awesome. Give them props for that. Maybe they'll decide that, because like everything happens for a reason. So sometimes what happens is these people, you have to gain weight to realize that, hey, maybe I really should have changed my life. Maybe I should have changed my habits, and now is as good a time as ever to change. So these things happen for a reason. You know, you may have gained all this weight in the past, had these negative habits. You got to test and see what it's like. This is how the humans learn. It's trial and error. There's no like manual to this body. You have to learn for yourself. It's trial and error. You know, you have to try the different foods. There's no diet that's good for everybody. Doesn't work that way. You got to try all of them, and maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't work for you, you go on to the next one. When you find stuff that works for you, you're learning your body. That's the key. Who cares about everyone else? Your focus should only be on you. These are just examples of what's possible. But you need to do the things that you know are right. So communicating with the girls, the good thing is you'll talk to them and they'll tell you what they did wrong. They'll tell you and give you the benefit of their experience. And if you're smart, you take that experience and you learn and don't make the same mistake yourself. And that's kind of what I would like you to take out of this whole talk about this, is that you can learn from people either positive or negative. And if they chose to do something negatively, then you need to learn from that and say, don't do that, and get back on path. You know, I'll use the example of my dad. My dad was a negative influence on me, where he drank alcohol and smoked cigarettes, and you know, for a good portion of his life, and I saw the consequences of that, and it wasn't good. You know, he ended up dying, you know, at 72 or 73, something like that, of cancer of the stomach, which was caused from smoking. Even though he quit smoking at age, you know, mid-50s. So it took 20 years for the cancer to take hold and to kill him, but it was caused by the smoking. So I learned, don't do that, right? Plain and simple. It's easy. He had a positive influence by doing something negative. Could that happen? Absolutely. Can you learn from it? Oh, totally. Totally. There's lots of people out there that do bad things, and there's lots of patients that do bad things. Now, I hope the ones that are on the group, the ones that are sharing, they're doing the right thing because, you know, they want to be seen as positive. And that's why it holds them accountable, and they work harder because they want to be seen as positive. If you don't want to be seen as positive, or you don't care about being seen as positive, then you don't do these things. Which blows me away as an influencer, that you are out there specifically trying to influence people to do whatever you're trying to influence them to do. How could you not hold yourself responsible, hold yourself accountable for doing the things that are going to influence people positively? I do not want to be a negative influence on people, so therefore I've tried to eliminate all the negative things. I only want to be a positive influence on my kids. I only want to be a positive influence on my family. Dude, it would kill me to hear that you know, someone decided that, you know, to do something positive because they saw me doing something negative. I don't like that. I don't want to have that feeling. I don't want to feel like my living a negative life affected somebody in a positive way. I'd rather be, hey, I want to be an example. Follow me because I'm going to lead you to the promised land, and I'm going to do that by taking care of myself and figuring out and actualizing myself and realizing how my body works. Because the more that I can figure out how my body works, I can tell you this worked or this didn't work, right? And you can take the benefits of that experience and shorten your time. See, we live by trial and error, right? We improve by trial and error, and you have to try things, and if it doesn't work, you try something different. But you don't always have to learn from your own experience. You don't have to always learn from your own failures. You can learn from other people's failures and turn it around and be positive. Totally possible. And what does that do? So while it may have taken someone 10 years to become an expert at something, if that same person teaches you everything that they know and helps you to avoid the pitfalls, they shorten that time in half, sometimes even less, to become an expert. So some of these girls are getting these amazing bodies, and they're getting it in a very short time. And the reason they're getting it in a short time is because they're benefiting from all the people before us. All of the knowledge and experience that came before us, the people that put in the hard work, the efforts that I've done. I'm telling you, the results that we get now are not the same that we got 5 years ago. Not even close. So you're getting the benefit of my experience, which allows you to propel forward significantly faster than you would have normally. So I'm going to end this soon. I'll reiterate really quick. We got this 15% off special going on. This is going to be till the end of this month. So your deal is you have to place a deposit by the end of this month and get the procedure by the end of next month. It's a limited time special, so if you don't take advantage of this, it will end. And those of you, my previous patients who are looking to influence others positively, we have this contest where we're doing 50% off. And Stacy was the previous winner from last month. She was the first winner for this contest. And each month we're going to announce a new winner. So all of those patients that have been getting procedures and sharing stuff on the group, you all have the opportunity to influence many people positively in the future, and I want to encourage that as much as possible, and so I'm giving that financial incentive to encourage you to pay it forward and give all of the benefits of the wisdom that you've earned from the experience of going through the hard times. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you jump on our private Facebook group. You can connect with all these ladies and learn how to do this stuff the right way, and start learning from a positive influence rather than negative influence. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.